So in this video, I'm going to complete the 4th page of the study guide. So a reminder that problems 20 and 21 you were supposed to solve and use any method to solve. So for problem number 20, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. It's already equal to 0, and I'm pretty sure I can factor it. So x minus 5, x plus 3. So negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2, and then negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. All right, so now that I've got the two factors, I can set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides here, and I will get x is equal to 5. And I'm going to subtract 3 here and get x is equal to negative 3. All right, so problem number 20 is done. And then problem number 21, it's equal to 0, which is nice. I'm going to factor it, but this time I'm going to factor with a GCF. All right, so 5x squared and 10x are both divisible by 5x. So I'm going to factor that 5x out. And then what's left would be x minus 2. Set that equal to 0. So now each of these factors, I'm going to set equal to 0 and solve, just like I've been doing in the past couple problems. So divide both sides by 5, x is equal to 0. And then if I add 2 to both sides here and here, I would get x is equal to 2. All right, so the solving problems are all done. I'm going to go ahead and slide down to, I believe this is the last section, which is evaluating functions. Yes, it is. All right, so we have a couple different functions here. We have this k of x function, which is 1/2 negative 3x plus 2 squared. We have this m of x function, which is the quantity negative 2 raised to the x minus 5. And the last one we have here is p of x is equal to 2 times the absolute value of negative 4x plus 3. All right. So basically, we want to make sure that we're using the appropriate functions in these problems. So I'm going to zoom in on problem number 22. I'm not going to zoom that far, though, because this particular problem says I need to use the p function, which is right here. And if I zoom in too far, I won't be able to read this. So p of 4 means I'm going to take the p of x function, and every single place I have an x, I am going to replace it with the number 4. Okay. All right. Now, if you have a calculator handy, go ahead and pop this whole thing in your calculator. I'm just going to do it in my head pretty quickly. So this would be negative 16 plus 3, which would be negative 13. Now, I over-exaggerate my absolute value bars because I have been known on occasion to think they are the number 1 if I don't exaggerate them. So I want to be careful about that. So this is going to be 2 times. Now, the absolute value of negative 13 is 13, so 2 times 13 makes 26. And that is what p of 4 is equal to. Now, please do not make the mistake of thinking that you are trying to solve for p. P is not a variable, it's a function name. So please don't think that you need to get it to say p equals. You are asked to evaluate p of 4. So that's what you're trying to evaluate. All right, I'm going to go ahead and slide over to 23 here. And I'm given 2 functions this time. And what I'm supposed to do is add these 2 together. So I've got m of 3. So let me do that part first. So m of 3 is going to be this m function. And everywhere I have an x, which in this case is only one x, I am going to replace it with the number 3. All right, so negative 2 cubed is going to be negative 8. Negative 8 minus 5 is negative 13. So that's m of 3. Now, separately, I am going to figure out what k of 2 is equal to. So that means I'm going to use the k function, and where I have an x, I'm going to replace it with the number 2. So this would be 1/2 times, let's see, negative 3 times 2 plus 2 squared. All right. So -3, that's a times sign. So -3 times 2 is -6. -6 plus 2 is -4. -4 squared is going to be a +16. And half of 16 is 8. Feel free to use a calculator as needed. To finish this answer, I'm going to go back to the original. So it says m of 3. Well, that's -13. Plus the k of 2 function. Well, k of 2 is 8. So -13 plus 8 is -5. All right, so that's problem number 23. I'm going to go ahead and slide on down to number 24 here. And again, I have the same thing. I've got two functions, so I'm going to separately figure out what those two functions are and then take the answers and subtract them. So let's see, k of -2. So let's figure this out. K of -2. So 1/2 -3 times 2 plus 2. Whoops, hold on. That's supposed to be a -2 there. Squared. All right, so -3 times -2 is 6. 6 and 2 is 8. 8 squared is 64. Half of 64 should be 32. All right, separately, I'm going to figure out p of 2. So p of 2 is going to be 2 times the absolute value of -4 times 2 plus 3, I believe. I want to double check that function. 2, -4, yes and yes. Okay. So -4 times 2 is -8. -8 plus 3 is -5. Absolute value of -5 is 5. 2 times 5 makes 10. All right, so now I'm going to take k of -2, which is 32, minus p of 2 is 10. So 32 minus 10 makes 22. All right, and one more final problem. M of 2 times p of -3. All right, so m of 2 is equal to -2 squared minus 5. So -2 squared is 4. 4 minus 5 is -1. Let's do p of -3. Let's see, so 2 times the absolute value of -4 times -3 plus 3. Let's see, that would be -4 times -3 is 12. 12 plus 3 makes 15. Absolute value of 15 is 15. 2 times 15 is 30. So to finish this one off, we're going to take -1 times 30, and that would be -30. All right, so I hope this has helped a little bit with the study guide. If you have any questions or concerns, send me any messages through Canvas or directly email me. And if you really need to or you want to, pop into any of the Zooms this week and we can talk about whatever